Hello and welcome to a Monday Crafternoon. So I'm going to use today to focus on two products. I want to focus on some designer papers. This is the In Good Taste designer paper pack, and it's a little larger pack than some of the others. It doesn't go with a specific stamp set. Instead, let me pull this out here. This has some really generic patterns. All of the papers in here, one side is going to be wood grain and the other side is going to be something that you might see as tile on a wall or a floor someplace, or like a brick pattern. So there's one, there's another one. This is got a blue color to it. This one is more of a woven kind of thing. And there's your brick pattern on the back. So you can see that all of these, this looks like a paint, you know, like when they do that Adobe paint maybe or something, that paint that's kind of thick. This one has a little bit of a woven pattern to it, but these are all really generic, all neutral colors, so they're great for using as background pieces. Okay, we're going to use one of the pieces from this set, and this is the pattern that I'm going to use today. This little thing that looks like stacked bricks, because I'm actually going to do a floral thing on it, and I want it to look like plants growing by a brick wall. All right. The other paper that I want to focus on is this one here. This is a new paper pack that's got 3 different gray foils in it. These guys, these are awesome. This one is a dark gray, and you can see I've already started using it. It's got lines in it. Can you see those lines? That's really cool. So this one is dark. This one is more of a it's not a shiny, it's more of a matte look to it. And then this one is really shiny. So this one is very, very silver. This one is kind of a light gray, and then this one is a dark gray. There's a strong lined pattern in here, a slightly brushed pattern in here, and this is a very matte. All right, so these again are very neutral and they make for good backgrounds. So here is what I wanted to do. I want to do some embossing on the designer paper, because you can do that. So let's get started. All right, so for the basic plan, like I said, I wanted to make it look like flowers were kind of growing up against this wall, this brick wall. So I'm going to pick out a dark gray. This is basic gray for the background. I'm going to put my tile pattern right on here. And then this is actually the back side of it. So it's a coordinating thing, and it's just a modeled kind of grayish thing. And then I'm going to put a detailed floral die cut on top of here. And I want to have the floral stamp on the designer paper embossed. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is die cut this. All right, so I have this piece die cut from, again, these are the Scalloped Contours dies. My plan is to have a floral die cut here and a coordinating floral stamp over here. All right, the imagery that I want to use for the flowers is I want to use the coordinating die that cuts out the detail for this image, and then I'm going to use a combination of these two stamps on the stacked bricks for the background. Since you only get one of each of these sheets in the pack of papers, I want to maximize every little bit of it that I can. So I'm going to cut and outline pretty close to what the die is going to cut, to save as much as possible of this sheet. So I think I've popped all the little pieces out, and whoops, nope, there's one more. What I will often do with a die like this is flip it over to the back, because on the back side you can see the holes, like there's one more that I didn't get all the way out. But yeah, sometimes it's easier to look from the back because you can see the lines on the white versus on the front when you've got a little bit of a pattern and it's so reflective. All right, that is going to go on here. Now I want the background to be stamped, and for that I want to kind of match the reflective of the die cut, and I'm going to do that by stamping in the dark gray and then embossing, heat embossing in clear embossing powder. The cool thing is that our Stampin' Up! Inks are juicy enough that they will hold the embossing powder. And this is dark ink, so I can see where I've already stamped. Now I'm just going to take this off camera and heat it. We're going to dress it up just a little bit with some twine. Now this is a Baker's Twine Essentials pack, which comes with all these different neutral colors. Now with these scallops, it helps with the placement and positioning of this twine. And then I will just very often use regular tape to secure it to the back of the card. And then it needs a bow. By having this secured only on the back, it allows me the freedom to position this vertically wherever I want it, wherever I think it looks good with that die cut. I'm going to adhere this down directly to the card base, and then I'm going to come back and I think to help that stand out a little bit more, I'm going to put it on a framing layer of the matching basic gray. You'll have to leave some comments and let me know if you've ever done this, whether you've ever done stamping on the designer paper and or embossing on the designer paper. Oh, this is fun. When I run my fingers across here, I can feel the raised areas in that. Okay, speaking of raised, before I'm done, I think I'm actually going to raise this up on dimensionals, but I still need a sentiment on this card as well. And that's such a pretty stamp, I think I'm going to stamp the inside. Here's a piece of paper for the inside. I'm going to bring back my basic gray ink. And we'll bring back a protective sheet. This is so pretty. I like this background. I didn't want to get ink on it. So we're just going to leave this plain so I can write a message on the inside. I'm going to put my sentiment on the front. All right, my inside is finished. My front still needs to be finished. So let's get this layered on, and then we're going to put this on the front of the card. Now, I would like to pop that up. It's got really tiny spaces on the back side. So I think what I'm going to try and do is to use some of these tiny dimensionals. And they're not tiny enough, so I think I'm going to come in and cut them and make them even smaller. We'll see how that works. Oh, I am loving the using the take your pick tool for placing these little tiny pieces of dimensional. I think this is going to work. See, it's a little bit futzy, so maybe that's another good reason for this being taped instead of you watching me try to actually do it live. So I keep turning it over to see if I am seeing the dimensionals through the holes, and I'm not. I think cutting these little ones in half is going to work. All right, I am impressed. It's working. Let's get these release papers off. All right, what I kind of did was push down and then pull up. Wow, this is tiny space. I might try to put one more over here. Maybe not. So in terms of balance for structurally balanced, I've got some off to that side, some off to this side, a little bit in the middle over here, and there's not really a space to put tiny, tiny little ones over on this side. So I think we're just going to let it go. I think it's going to be okay. All right, now I have to decide which way to angle this. Oh, this looks good. This looks really good. I'm glad I layered it up because that makes a big difference. And you can't see those tiny little dimensionals through there. So these are the mini dimensionals, not the regular size. And cutting them in half, it worked on this tiny little die cut. All right, I'm going to layer this whole piece up, but I'm going to use the regular dimensionals for that. All right, so this is going to go right here. Now, I am going to come back and put a sentiment in here, but I'm also going to come use my Wink of Stella pen and just shiny up the petals on here. Oh, this was so cool. Totally. I'm so glad I did this. This just adds some great sparkle to the designer paper. So I'm going to do the leaves and the flowers. And then I'll hold it up and you guys can see the reflection on it. But it looks pretty cool. It looks totally cool. And I thought when I was doing this, I thought about coming back with a marker, because you can also color on designer paper. But then I thought, oh no, it looks too busy with the lines of the stacked stones showing through. I didn't want to come back and add color. I thought that would look a little silly. But oh gosh, look at the sparkle on here. Can you see the sparkle? I'm trying to do it at an angle that shows. There, look, maybe this flower is what I'm trying to look at through the camera and see if the sparkle shows on it. It's so hard to tell because my eyes are too close to the camera, and so it's like when my head is up here, it's not all in focus for my eyeballs. I don't see it until after I download it to my computer and try to edit things. All right, so we're still going to glitz this up. This is not done. It needs a sentiment and it needs a little bit more sparkle. So the more sparkle is going to be with some rhinestones. We'll just get these out and ready to go. Let's see, where can I put a sentiment? I think maybe down in this space and maybe around one. And I didn't choose a sentiment from here yet, but that feel better would fit real nice in that little space, and so would the thanks. I need thank you cards more than I need feel good cards. So let me see what I've got for a punch. Now I could put my sentiment on white, but this is why I personally have some of every color that Stampin' Up! Has. And we're just going to pull in, this is Smoky Slate, which is just one more of these grays that's in here. So it's a lighter color. My sentiment will show up. And I've got this oval punch that punches the two sizes. I don't know which size is going to work. Bring my sentiment in here and see what it looks like. And we're going to do black so it really pops. And also it will help to balance the color because I've got black in the twine here. So putting black on the other side of the card just helps with balance. Oh, I like it. I like it. I like it. This is coming together really nicely. So I'm not going to throw this away. I'm just going to throw this in the box with the stamp set, and then maybe at some later point in time I will want to use it. Actually, what I do when I have extra parts, if I've got these clear plastic envelopes, Stampin' Up! Sells them. If I have an extra stamped piece for a set, I'll just pop it in here, and then that keeps it safe and away from any ink. Okay, tell you bad things about myself. It will keep it safe and away from any ink that might be on stamps that I put away if they're not clean. Not saying I ever put my stamps away unclean, but that has been known to happen. And look at this. This is one thing that I did before where I embossed it tone on tone. I think you can see the glistening on there. There you go. I can see the reflection over here in this part. So I had heat embossed clear on white. And so that's an extra piece. So now these two are kept safe and sound in the box with the stamp set if I ever pull that out and looking for ideas. And this will look real nice right down here. Got a few rough edges. This is just a gum eraser and I just ran it along the edges to kind of clean it up a little bit. I want it to stand out a teeny bit more. So I'm going to also pump that same stamp set out of the darker gray and let it frame itself. And you've seen me do this before, so this is exactly the same size, but I want it to frame itself. So what I'm going to do is to take that back piece and just cut it from end to end very carefully in a straight line and put some adhesive on the back of the front, the one that's going to be the front card. And then I can take the front piece and layer it on the back of this one. And now we have, oh, see, I'm really liking this too, because I've got this gray behind the scallops, and I've got the scallops on the gray, and now I've got the thank you down here. This is turning out to be awesome. I'm very happy with this. It just needs the sparkle of the rhinestones. All right, let's put these things on here. We'll pop this right on the corner, and then come off with just a few little sparkly rhinestones placed around to add some extra interest and finish off the card. So now what we have is a finished project that highlights a designer paper pack that I really like. That's got a lot of good neutrals for the background. So this is the In Good Taste designer paper. We stamped on it and we heat embossed on it in clear. We used the scallops dies to make a pretty background here, and then matched it with the scallops in the punch. Decorated it with a little bit of shiny rhinestones to match the shiny in that silver foils pack. This turned out to be a really nice card. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next Monday at 1 o'clock for another project.